everyone. We're back now with tonight's Eyewitness News Extra, and we turn our attention right now to tasers. We've seen them used several times in recent police-involved shootings right here in Connecticut. But are they the most effective tool to use?
Yeah, that is the big question. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matthew Campbell is looking closer at those cases where some are wondering why tasers were not enough to subdue the suspects.
So far in 2020, we've seen police release 2 videos of officers using tasers. Here in West Haven, after 19-year-old Mubarak Suleiman led police on a chase on 95. And here in Ansonia, where 30-year-old Michael Gregory charged at officers with a knife. In both cases, police ended up shooting the suspects with guns, killing them.
When taser first came on the market, or electronic defense weapons first came on the market, the idea was that they would be used to replace lethal force. And I think that was sort of a misnomer.
In 2015, Connecticut became the first state in the country to collect data on taser usage. We remain the only state to do it. Ken Barone is in charge of analyzing the numbers.
How many times the taser was used in an incident, for how long, how many seconds.
We learned that tasers deployed via prongs or dry stuns
Tase me, bro! Don't tase me! I didn't do anything! Ow! Ow! Ow!
happen on average 285 times a year.
Turn around! Turn around! Turn around!
The idea is that the taser should be making the person unmobile, right, and unable to move.
So in these 2 cases that started the year, why didn't the tasers immediately immobilize the suspect? We had Barone go back to the video. Here in Ansonia, 6 seconds elapsed, and Gregory appeared unfazed.
You hear the taser, you see the taser, you know it was deployed, and you know because he didn't stop charging, moving towards the officer with a weapon, that it didn't work.
In the West Haven case, we can see and hear the taser being deployed, but how it impacts the suspect is unclear.
It all happens very quickly. Did the taser get deployed? Did it hit the subject? How much time between when the taser was deployed and the first shots were fired are all questions that hopefully the investigators in the West Haven case are exploring.
When police fire their tasers, they're trained to aim right here, center mass. But even when police place it right where they want it, we learned there are many factors that can impact how a suspect reacts.
The tasers will impact people differently based on their height, their weight, whether or not they were intoxicated or under the influence of drugs.
Also, the clothes they're wearing.
I'm wearing a big, bulky winter coat. It's likely not going to impact me the same way as if I was only wearing a t-shirt.
We reached out to Ansonia Police and the Connecticut State Police for a comment on the effectiveness of their tasers in these incidents. Ansonia told us they can't comment on the Myrtle Ave case, but in general they say tasers have limitations and are not infallible. We also asked for the model numbers of the taser used. Ansonia uses the X26P, which has been proven to be less powerful than previous versions.
There's different models of tasers in terms of, how much of a shock it can deliver for how long.
Ultimately, experts say they've seen tasers replace pepper spray and batons when subduing a subject, but its place and importance in an officer's arsenal is still a gray area.
The question is still out on how effective of a tool they are from a research perspective.
Taser, taser, taser.
Now, one thing that's going to help research going forward is a new law that just went into effect at the beginning of the month. This requires all officers to report every single use of force incident, not just tasers. And this will help paint a clearer picture of what happens after a taser is deployed and how often police take that next step of using their guns. Matthew Campbell, Channel 13 News.